They're terrifying statistics that there is a 1 in 1,000 chance that we could be wiped out by a nuclear war or a massive climate event. Incredibly, the chances of a bad artificial intelligence wiping us out is just 1 in 10. But an Australian mother of 6 is moving heaven and earth to change that. I'm Penny Lane, and In the Driver's Seat starts now. Dr. Cat Wallace is one of the rarest of women, an expert in AI, but at the same time, she has trained with shamans, traditional elders, and medicine guides to harness centuries of traditional native wisdom, a rare intersection of technology and spiritual knowledge. Dr. Cat, welcome to In the Driver's Seat.
Hello, Penny.
What an unusual combination of talents. How did you marry traditional wisdom with cutting-edge AI technology?
So my walking a shamanic path or learning from Indigenous elders in Australia, Mexico and Peru started about 30 years ago. But more recently, in the last 10 years, I've spent a lot of time in the jungles of Peru with the desert people in New Mexico, and also with Australian Aboriginal elders learning about their technology, which is all about plants and psychoactive medicines. At the same time, for the last 20 years, I've been one of the world's first AI entrepreneurs. I'm a professor in the field of organizational behavior and technology, and I chair a venture capital fund for AI. So deeply walking a foot in both paths, Penny.
Wow, how interesting. Were you always interested in ancient teachings?
Yes, from a child I was very connected with nature and with animals and loved the Indigenous ways of thinking about things. So I would say I was an animist. So an animist is the original spirituality of humans for tens of thousands of years, and I'd say is what Indigenous communities believe in now, whereas there is spirit in all things, in rocks, in plants, in humans, and potentially also in technology. And I liked that way of thinking about things.
Wow, so how did you end up being in the police as an early career?
So that was just a more an act of rebellion, I would say, after having a very comfortable a middle-class upbringing. I went to uni for a couple of years studying agriculture, dropped out, wanted to be in service and also to do something rebellious. So I joined the police. I was there for about 3.5 years, which was a very great grounding in organizational behavior. So I saw how things became corrupt. I saw how things worked in a closed system. And then I went on to studying organizational behavior and do a PhD in the field.
So why the switch to philosophy from there?
Yeah, so Penny, what I see now is with the coming of AI, which I regard as a new species on the planet, a new intelligence, that we are beyond just thinking about how can this be a tool. It's more how is it a force, how it is a new living intelligence. And so with the renaissance of psychedelics, with the renaissance of technology, we also see the rise of philosophers and the rise of creatives. So much more, I now regard myself, rather than as an AI entrepreneur, as a AI philosopher.
Wow. Has technology undermined leadership, do you think?
Not so much undermined, but will it replace humans? Yes. And I've recently given a talk to about 1,500 Australian Institute of Company Directors board members about how AI is already being used either as a board member in certain companies or as the main tool for capturing the way boards are creating their minutes and their notes, analysing information before board members go into meetings, and is acting already as a leader in many, many companies.
How do you think it will help CEOs?
Definitely will help with productivity. So at the moment, and remembering that AI is more than just generative AI, but using automation in business should already increase productivity by about 40%. increase accuracy of analytics, scenario planning, product development and design. So as far as efficiency and accuracy, predictive models, this technology is very, very good for that.
And for business owners, what do you think has been the most powerful thing or the most powerful program that's helping people at the moment?
I would definitely say it is the generative AI programs, of which ChatGPT is just one of them. And this mostly is being used around content development and creating of marketing type materials. That's the main use case. Also now being used in creating models for finance and services and procurement and human resources. But mostly, Penny, it's around content development in organisations now.
And is there any jobs in particular, besides the content creation, is there any jobs in particular you think that people should be upskilling to keep their jobs safe?
Right. So this is an interesting topic because it's the first time ever the sort of luminaries in the field believe that there will be mass job displacement. And the World Economic Forum believes there's 85 million jobs in the next 12 months that will be displaced by AI and 92 million jobs that'll be created by AI. But it won't be those who lose their jobs to be the ones that get the new jobs. So I don't believe any job is safe. AI will come into almost every field. So even you remember the artists, oh no, we can't never replace human creativity. Well, there are fantastic platforms, DALL-E, Midjourney, amongst others, that are doing fantastic work in the creative fields. So I don't think any job's safe. We will potentially see mass unemployment and the introduction of a basic universal income when that happens.
Wow. Do you think it's dangerous?
Okay, good question. At the moment, there's no real laws or rules that govern AI. In Europe, there is the EU AI Act, which was enacted just over 12 months ago, which does regulate high to low risk AI. But in the rest of the world, including Australia, there is no specific laws or rules for AI. So that's one thing. It isn't well governed. Government is maybe 5 years behind the development of this tech. And if we look, Penny, at who's leading AI, it is the tech giants, predominantly out of Silicon Valley, but also China and India, huge AI producing companies. We have a small handful of mostly male leaders in these tech companies who are essentially creating the pathway for AI. And I don't believe that they have demonstrated good ethical orientation in how they produce or deploy the technology. So in that way, I think it's very dangerous. We're also seeing the use of drone-based AI in warfare. Last week we saw Russia use 600 drones to bomb Ukraine. Very dangerous.
Gosh, it's so scary. How can an everyday person protect themselves?
So the very first thing I love to say to people is you don't have to be technical to understand AI. There's what we call low code or no code AI. So that means you don't even need to know how to code to use intelligence platforms. So ChatGPT or any of the other generative AI platforms is simply people learning how to use them and what they're capable of. So that's number one. I think people need to get in and play with them and experiment with them themselves. Listen to everything you can, read everything you can on artificial intelligence so that you're up to speed on it. The same way as I say, it's a new species. If an actual new species did arrive on the planet, we would all want to learn about it. So that's what I encourage people to do. And then for each individual to step into ethical leadership. So that is, make sure that AI that is being used in your business or at home has human-centered values at its core. It's not going to discriminate. It's safe and reliable. It adheres to privacy standards. It's transparent. It's explainable. And the technology that you use and the vendors must be held to account. So I encourage all individuals, let alone business people, to step into being ethical leaders in this field.
That's really good advice. Now, you've helped the government understand the importance of getting on top of AI. How have you done that?
Yeah, so in 2019, Minister Karen Andrews created Australia's first ethical AI principle. So I was very involved in the crafting of that and the releasing and promotion of that. I've also started a responsible AI index, which has been running for maybe 4 years now, where we are measuring how mature Australia is with regard to responsible AI. And this survey is now run by the National AI Centre. And it shows, Penny, that still we're only about 1 in 10 Australian-based organisations has any maturity around ethical and responsible AI implementation. So we've got a long way to go. I've written a book called Checkmate Humanity, The How and Why of Responsible AI, which is a guidebook into how to do AI. And then the new book that I'm just releasing actually yesterday is called Rapid Transformation and goes into how to look at AI as a transformative tool.
Oh, congratulations. I'm definitely going to be picking up a copy of your new book. Now, you're recognised as a world leader in the area of psychedelic renaissance. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so this is a time of renaissance. So it's a time when humanity is starting to look to other ways to expand their consciousness, to heal their traumas, to improve their mental health, to be more creative. So we see that the big psychedelic movement was in the 60s and the 70s, shut down by government at the time, related to not wanting people to be in that space when they were trying to recruit people to go to war. But now we're seeing a rise. And we've just done some research in Australia and America that shows that at least 30% of Americans and Australians have used or do use psychoactive substances such as psilocybin or MDMA, LSD, ketamine, ayahuasca, bufo alvarius, the 5-MeO-DMT, and another 10% who haven't used it are very interested in using it. So we're seeing 40% of the population now looking to these plant-based or other psychoactive substances to support often it's mental health, but often it's leadership and creativity.
Wow. Now, you have been described as one of the most influential businesswomen in Australia, and I can absolutely see why. And we've run out of time, and they're telling me I've got to wrap it up, but I need to ask you one more question. As a mother of 6, as a grandmother, as an author, as a champion in AI, how do you gauge success?
So for me, it's all about impact. So how many lives have I touched? And for me, it's opening people's minds to what is AI? What are the risks of AI? How do they become leaders? And also then as a parent, it's like, can we be successful in our career and raise a family? Yes, we can. But I'd say, Penny, we have to be non-conventional in how we do these things.
Thank you so much. Dr. Cat Wallace, what an incredible innovator you are. Thank you so much for joining me in the driver's seat.
My pleasure. Thank you, Penny.
In the Driver's Seat is proudly brought to you by the Perfect Cosmetics Company. You're watching Ticker, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.